What if I told you that one of the most iconic food brands in American history, the one that's been on our shelves, in our lunchboxes, and at our dinner tables for generations is now fighting for its life? This is the story of how a household name that once ruled the canned food industry has ended up in bankruptcy court. It's emotional, it's surprising, and it's a wake-up call for every legacy brand in America. They were once known as the kings of canned fruits in every American household. Del Monte, the 138-year-old legacy brand that filled generations of kitchen pantries, is now officially filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And the real question now is, how did one of the most recognized names in the grocery aisle end up here? Del Monte Foods, based in Walnut Creek, California, has entered the bankruptcy process. And it's not just restructuring, they're preparing to sell off all of their assets. This isn't just a business move, this is survival. With 6 production facilities across the U.S. and 2 more in Mexico, the company is actively seeking a buyer to take over what's left of a brand that was once the pride of American pantries. Del Monte's CEO, Greg Longstreet, isn't calling it a downfall. In fact, he's calling it a strategic step forward. He says the decision to file for Chapter 11 came after carefully reviewing all possible paths. The goal: a full turnaround, under new ownership, a cleaner financial structure, and a long overdue reset. It's a hopeful statement, but hope is hard to sell when you're carrying between $1 billion and $10 billion in debt. Still, they're not out of the game just yet. Del Monte has secured a lifeline $912.5 million in fresh funding, with $165 million coming from existing lenders. This money will help keep operations running while the company searches for someone willing to buy and rebuild this historic brand. From the ground up, it's a dramatic fall for a company that once helped define the American canned food industry. Back in 1886, Del Monte was born. By 1907, it was running major canneries in San Francisco. And by 1909, it was the largest canned fruit and vegetable producer in the entire world. Think about that. For over a century, Del Monte wasn't just a brand, it was a trusted name in nearly every kitchen in America. From fruit cups in school lunches to veggie sides at Thanksgiving, they were part of the fabric of American life. And it wasn't just Del Monte branded items. Collagen broths, Contadina tomato products, these were essentials, not luxuries. So how does a brand with that kind of legacy land in bankruptcy court? Del Monte blames rising production costs, and to some extent, they're not wrong. The economic climate has been brutal, skyrocketing inflation, supply chain issues, and import tariffs on key materials like steel and aluminum have all driven up costs. But there's something much deeper going on here, something that can't be solved with better logistics or cheaper cans. The truth is, America's eating habits have changed dramatically, and Del Monte didn't change fast enough. Today's consumers aren't just looking for affordable food, they're looking for food that matches their lifestyle. They want fresh, organic, low sodium, preservative-free, ethically sourced. They want clean ingredients and packaging that doesn't raise health concerns. And when it comes to canned goods, many of which still contain BPA or other chemical preservatives, people are simply walking away. Sarah Fuss, a legal expert on corporate restructuring, said it best. Americans are no longer prioritizing canned foods filled with preservatives. They're choosing healthier, fresher options instead. Canned vegetables used to be a symbol of convenience. Now they feel like a compromise. Even during the Trump administration, when tariffs briefly drove up prices on fresh produce and steel, leading to a short-lived spike in canned goods, it wasn't enough to stop the trend. As more health studies warned about BPA and sodium levels in canned products, shoppers started avoiding them altogether, and that slow shift in consumer behavior created a massive ripple effect for Del Monte. Inventory began piling up, sales slowed down, and debts began to grow. Add in the broader economic issues and what you get is a perfect storm. A 138-year-old company trying to survive in a market that barely resembles the one it once dominated. And they're not alone. Other retail giants like Jo-Ann Fabrics and Big Lots have also filed for bankruptcy recently. This isn't just about one company. This is about a changing American economy, where even the most iconic brands can get left behind if they don't evolve. Still, Del Monte is trying to assure everyone that this isn't a goodbye. In a statement filled with gratitude, CEO Greg Longstreet thanked employees, farmers, vendors, and loyal customers. He promised that the company's mission, nutritious, great-tasting food, remains unchanged. But without a buyer, that mission is hanging by a thread. There's one small silver lining. Del Monte's international operations remain unaffected. Their plants in the Philippines, Singapore, India, and Mexico will continue running normally. So while the U.S. side of the business may be struggling, the brand will live on globally, at least for now. But here in the United States, this is more than a bankruptcy filing. It's a reflection of a deeper shift in the food industry. Shelf-stable doesn't mean safe anymore. Convenience isn't king. Health is. Trust is. And if brands can't adapt to that new reality, they'll lose relevance no matter how big their name used to be. So now the world is watching. Will Del Monte rise again under new leadership? Or will this be the final chapter for a company that once fed America? The answer, as always, lies not just in the boardrooms or courtrooms, but in the aisles of your local grocery store. What we choose to buy, what we choose to eat, and what we value in our food, those choices shape the future of every brand on the shelf. And for Del Monte, that future is being written right now.